Today, kiddies, we step back in time to a boxer whose punching power was extraordinary. A knockout artist in the truest sense of the form. A boxer who had a stellar career cut short by a tragic injury. But his legacy must and will endure. As long as there are people like me, boxing enthusiasts, who were willing to tell a story, they need to share this story. The story, the career of the boxer Gerald McClellan, the G-Man. A boxer with pound for pound the most devastating punches ever seen in any division of boxing. McClellan once defeated a young Roy Jones Jr. in the 1988 Golden Gloves Championship. Gerald McClellan possessed a left hook that would rattle your ancestors. Originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but hailing from the famous Kronk's Gym in Detroit, Michigan, where he honed his skills under the tutelage of Emanuel Stewart, one of the great trainers of boxing. The G-Man was destined to be one of boxing's immortals, all-time greats. His first 4 fights were won in the first round. His one-shot power was great enough to KO opponents with well-timed single-shot body shots, just leveling his opponent in a heap, lying on the canvas in a ball, whining about pain. It seemed no one could stop this juggernaut. No one could even make it to the second or third round. His power was truly too devastating for most in his division. It mattered not left or right. If G-Man connected, the poor sod who took the hit had their soul excised like a possessing spirit. McClellan's KO rate was otherworldly also, with his first 20 wins by KO in the first round. His first 28 KOs were by round 3. It was simple math. Whatever he touched, he basically destroyed. There was no one to test him. McClellan was a pro in the bush leagues, a rabbit running a turtle race. Little Mike Tyson, as he was sometimes called, going about his business, murking opponents, knocking the snot bubbles out of anyone who dare have the misfortune to face Gerald McClellan in the ring. Emanuel Stewart has stated that McClellan was the most gifted boxer he'd ever trained. His in-ring strategy was simple. Like the Call of Cthulhu, it was for McClellan to unleash hell, hit his opponents so hard that the opponents shudders under the power of McClellan's punches like a hate from old times. Unleash hell, G-Man, kill, kill, kill. McClellan's first title shot was for the middleweight crown held by John Mugabe, a 31-year-old with a 38-3 record. G-Man was sporting a 22-2 record. The beast was tamed from the outset of the match, going down in the first round to a jaw-jacking, mind-numbing overhand right. McClellan had taken his first crown, the WBO middleweight title. And for his first defense, he put it all potential opponents in check, stating that he was the division and he wasn't going anywhere for a while. His next match, the first round starts. The fighter's posture around the ring. G-Man sees an open. He surges forward, starts pounding his opponent with 2 punishing straight rights and to the left side of his opponent's head, then following with a lightning hook to his opponent's left side, blasting his opponent's ribs so hard they seemed to touch his backbone. Instantly, his opponent, a ball of mush on the mat, he's down for the count. A first round KO, almost instant KO. His firepower was so hard it was beyond contestation, setting up opponents with his lightning quick combos, making decent fighters look like punk club journeymen. Now, the WBO middleweight champion, he made a statement. He ran the division. Another first round KO. A formidable opponent, Tyrone Moe, was not even a footnote, being decimated and obliterated by McClellan's world-ending power. That then set up the match with another champion of the division, a one Julian Jackson, a KO artist in his own right, a legend who had reigned supreme in the middleweight division for 5 long years without contestation. And along was coming James Toney and Roy Jones Jr. But McClellan had those names on his shoulders alongside his, for he felt like it was time to face Julian Jackson. It was time for a payday. For the longest time, the middleweight division had bowed to and paid homage to King Julian Jackson. All hail the king, but Gerald McClellan wasn't the ordinary upstart. G-Man was the epitome and definition of seek and destroy. He came out of the corner after Mills Lane started round 1. G-Man came out aggressive, not giving Julian Jackson an inch. McClellan came out dropping thunderous bombs, straight rights, and hooking lefts on the Jackson, who was wobbled and seemed. Round 2 sees Jackson try to stage a comeback, but no chance. McClellan connected with a murderous left hook, damn near knocking Julian Jackson through the ropes. In round 5, Jackson in very serious trouble. Mills Lane calls the fight. McClellan wins. Age 25, he has the WBC middleweight championship of the world, being reconciled by the masses, recognized by the masses, coming out of anonymity with a fast-growing fan base who damn near worship McClellan by calling him Little Mike Tyson. His 26 KOs was a 93% KO rate, establishing him as one of the hardest hitting boxers to ever lace up the gloves. And next up was Jay Bell, who was the ultimate misfortune of being the fastest KO of a middleweight championship in history. As the fighters approached, McClellan unloaded on Bell upstairs with 2 punches, then a sweeping left hook to the body. A one shot to the body with such force, Bell went down and in a crumpled position could not move. His solar plexus felt like it was ruptured, and with pain and possible broken ribs, a 30-second KO, beating Julian Jackson's previous record of 50-second KO. G-Man had just set a new world record KO of a championship fight. Now McClellan was much more than raw power. He had an impressive body movement, head speed, footwork, relentless drive, an indestructible, powerful jaw. He could punch at range, he could come inside, or he could just throw hurt bombs from way outside. Next up was Gilbert Baptiste, who McClellan just blasted on with a murderous intent. Richard Steele, the ref, allowing the fight to continue after the first knockdown, but stopped the fight soon after. McClellan's relationships with Emanuel Stewart at this point had come to a head, with McClellan parting ways with Stewart, going back to his amateur coach, Stan Johnson. Now, McClellan Jackson 2 was up, and their last fight was rough for Jackson. This one was going to be even worse, for he was now a card-playing battleship, and McClellan held the gun. Unleashing the guns of the Navarone, a minute 23 into the first round, Julian Jackson was on the canvas, curled up into a ball, being counted out. 1, 2, 3. McClellan had landed a few body blows that spelled doom for Julius Jackson. After Jackson, no one was around to challenge McClellan. It was 1995. He was looking to earn his first major payday, which he had never got. McClellan decided to step up to super middleweight to challenge the champion of that division, Nigel Benn, in the 168-pound class of super middleweight. Nigel Benn is also a very aggressive boxer. Of the font set in London, and yes, you knew it was the bastard of all bastards, Don King, walk out in McClellan's camp. He is a scourge, a ruination of many great fighters, in my opinion, and a bad omen for the young, talented destroyer of worlds, Gerald McClellan. Both fighters are staring at each other down. They're in the ring. This is no chess match. This is two big gun world beaters looking to destroy the other. The Ben McClellan fight was in London, and the first round saw McClellan jump down Ben's throat, knocking Nigel Benn through the ropes. Ben somehow making it back to his feet by the 9 count. Nigel Benn then tried to stage a comeback, and the fight became a seesaw affair, back and forth, but GMAN was piling up the points. Ben started to rabbit punch and headbutt using dirty tactics to try and win the fight. Round 8 saw Ben kiss canvas once again to get back up and beat the 10 count, and now come back at McClellan. Round 8 saw Nigel Benn kiss canvas once again, only to get back up and beat the 10 count. Now in the 10th round, Nigel Benn, out of nowhere, throws a round sweeping hook that somehow catches him on McClellan's skull by his left eye. Nigel Benn throws a round sweeping hook that somehow connects on McClellan's left eye. Ben was stumbling, and they end up clashing heads, and McClellan suffers a little bit of damage to his head near his eye. McClellan bends down, but is instructed by the ref to stand up, get back to his corner. And McClellan, in his corner, you can see McClellan is still wincing from the pain. His vision is blurring, he doesn't know what's wrong, and his temples are aching badly. In his corner, McClellan, still wincing and blinking from the pain, doesn't know what's wrong, and no one in his immediate area does either. At this point in time, unbeknownst to everyone, a small blood clot had formed in McClellan's brain, hindering his vision and causing the massive headaches. The 11th round saw McClellan take a knee, giving up on the match. The crowd erupts, and all hell breaks loose. And Ben is raising his hand as the winner. McClellan is helped to his corner, where he collapses and is being attended to by cornermen. The blood clot in his brain was so bad, it was causing severe damage to McClellan and caused him to fall into a coma. And he was rushed from the scene to the hospital. McClellan, after being rushed to the hospital, fights for his life, while that snake Don King leaves his corner and buddies up with Nigel Benn's camp. Ben showing he had the determination to win, while McClellan has his life in a coma. The blood clot is yet to be removed, but has to be removed. It eventually is, and McClellan finally awakes. And when he awakes, he's blind and 80% deaf. Such a sad story for such an all-time great fighter. Someone who would have been one of the all-time greatest and a slayer of beasts. Far too many times are all-time great boxers who have run out of fight, been put to pasture, forgotten about. This does not need to happen to McClellan. For he gave everything for what he wanted to do, boxing. And to this day, his family struggles to support McClellan, who needs constant assistance with his needs. And his family is doing the best they can. And if anyone out there sees that they can help this master of the pugilistic arts, if you can help McClellan, please, there's a link at the bottom of the page. Hit it and find out what you can do. McClellan, the G-Man, Gerald McClellan, Little Tyson, one of the deadliest KO artists ever to lace up the gloves. A boxer who had speed, agility, ring savvy, a granite jaw, and who toted some of the most destructive, devastating bombs ever known in the squared circle. A tragic tale of a generational talent losing all that he has due to a minuscule blood clot. And a warrior who had to give up one fight to take on another. A warrior of the truest sense. A man, a legend, a slayer, a destroyer. A sad way for his career to end. Gerald McClellan's story must always be told. I salute you, Gerald McClellan. Keep up the good fight, brother. This is Big Duke 6, and this is my golden age of boxing.